What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex here, and you're watching Ragin Ronin Review. I got a review for you. Last weekend I saw The Magnificent Seven, and The Magnificent Seven is the latest film from director Antoine Fuqua. Antoine Fuqua is most known for his work on his really outstanding Denzel Washington film called Training Day. Great film, by the way. And then he's also responsible for a couple of really solid action thrillers like Shooter, Olympus Has Fallen, Tears of the Sun, and also The Equalizer, which also stars Denzel Washington. And now he's back to direct Denzel Washington for a third time in his Western, The Magnificent Seven, which is actually a remake of a remake. There was a film called Seven Samurai. It's a Japanese film from Akira Kurosawa, and it's about these samurai who come together to defend this village from these warlords. And then in the 1960s, there was the American remake of that film called The Magnificent Seven, and it's about these cowboys who come together to defend this town from outlaws. And then now there's a 2016 remake, which essentially is the same story as the 1960s film. I haven't seen the two original films, but from what I've heard, it made a couple of changes, but essentially it's the same story. There is a very, very colorful cast in this remake. You have Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, Lee Byung-hun, and also Ethan Hawke. And then there's Manuel Garcia Rolfo, Martin Sensmeyer, and Vincent D'Onofrio. So you can see there's a very, very diverse cast, which is great because they all bring something very unique to the table. And that's one of the things that I really love about this film. This is a simple, action-packed Western. And the characters are what make this film work. It's simple in the sense that it's no more than really just a story of revenge and justice, frontier justice. And it's actually filled with cliches, a lot of plot devices that we've seen before. But in a sense, it's a Western in its truest forms. You got outlaws, you got cowboys that are there to defend a town, you got a lot of gunslinging, and then just cowboys saving the day. And I think that you can't go wrong with that. I was thoroughly entertained by this film. It comes with a first act, which is about establishing the fact that these outlaws want to take over a town. The second act is about Denzel Washington's character, Sam Chisholm, recruiting the six of the Magnificent Seven. And then, of course, the third and final act, which is really the final battle. And that's what we're really building up to in the story. But other than that, it's a very simple story. It really is just leading up to this big, big final battle, which has a lot of action, a lot of gun battles, gunplay, gunslinging, and there's a huge body count. It's very violent, but at the end of the day, it's an action-packed popcorn ride of a film. And you shouldn't expect much more than that, even though it's quite predictable and they use a lot of story tools that we've seen before in many other films. It still works, mainly because I don't think Antoine Fuqua wants to do anything more than keeping it simple, and he does so in a very great way. And another thing that I think is great about this film is that he really makes cowboys look cool, and I think he really brings cowboys back. I mean, there aren't a lot of Westerns out there. I haven't seen a whole lot of Westerns, but some of the great Westerns out there are Young Guns 2, Tombstone, Wyatt Earp, but those are back in the day, and we haven't seen a whole lot of Westerns for a very, very long time. This film brings it back. And another thing that I really love about this film is the cinematography. I love the cinematography in this film. It's captured with a lot of really wide lenses and a lot of really great moving, I guess a lot of great camera moves that really bring you into the film, and you really see the large scope of this grand terrain and this location. The cinematography is fantastic. Really, really love it. It really essentially takes place completely all in exteriors. So you really get to see, I guess you really feel the setting of that time. So that was really great. And another thing that I loved about it is, I mentioned this before, they made cowboys look cool, they made westerns look cool, and they made, Antoine Fuqua made Denzel Washington look cool. I mean, he played a really, really cool role in this film. And to top things off, this is a role that was, it almost felt like this role was written for Denzel Washington, because he plays these roles really, really well. You've seen this role before played in other Denzel Washington films like The Equalizer and Man on Fire, and Deja Vu, and he's always this calm, cool, collected character, and he just knows what he's doing, true professional at what he does, and it's just really, really convincing. His performance is really, really well. As for the other cast members, Chris Pratt, he's a lot of fun to watch. He plays a charming gambler, and of course, if you've seen the way he is in Guardians of the Galaxy and the Jurassic World, he's kind of the same in this, but he plays it so well. As for the rest of the cast members, they do their job, but they don't get a whole lot of screen time, but at least they're portrayed in a very, very unique way. They're all very, very distinct. They have their own distinct characters, with the exception of Manuel Garcia Rolfo. There really isn't that much to his character, but as for everybody else, they have very, very unique roles, and I like that it's a very, very misfit and diverse cast. But that's about it. That's all this film really has to offer, which is fine. The villain is pretty cliche. Peter Sarsgaard plays the villain, and it's nothing really unique. It's nothing that we haven't seen before. He's a typical villain, and that's fine. But other than that, I really enjoyed this film. It's a fun Western. It's an entertaining thrill ride. It's a film that we would have ended up seeing in the summer blockbuster movie season. And there you have it. That's all I gotta say in this video. I'm gonna give this film a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. It's nothing special. It's nothing great, but it is really entertaining, and you'll love it if you're looking for some big action. Oh, I do want to mention that I do really enjoy the gun battles and all the action that this Western has to offer. But at some point in this movie, sometime during the final battle, I felt it got a little bit repetitive. I mean, all of that gunslinging and all of that body count, it just made me feel like, okay, who just died? I'm not sure who got shot. Was it the hero? Was it the outlaw? Or was it the one of the townsfolk? It just got repetitive. I wasn't sure who was shooting who, and I wasn't even sure who just got shot. It was just bodies falling down, and it just felt really it was just very numbing to keep on seeing that. But when they started doing unique things like sharpshooting and doing, I can't spoil anything, but when they started doing something other than bang, 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 and bodies falling down, it felt pretty cool. But then eventually it gets a little bit too much, to the point where it just feels, okay, this is repetitive. But okay, anyways, 7 out of 10. Go check it out. It is worth a watch. It's great to see Westerns back. So there you have it. That's all I got to say in this review. As always, if you enjoyed this review, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. My name is Alex. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. What that's about, back in January of 2009, an Airbus had a malfunction and had to land